After I had my first son and I was thinking about leaving the industry and it was all just kind of getting to me, I said, I've decided I'm gonna give up films. I'm just gonna leave the industry. And it just felt so good. My husband sort of said to me, well, great, that's a great decision. And then sort of, you know, he'd let me eat. And then he kind of said, or you could find a way that works for you. And I was like, ooh, that's better. That's so much better. So I started talking to Sophie Mayer, who is an incredible feminist film champion. And I said, what is the deal? You know, is the childcare, can you get it in line, you know, line items? Could I get childcare for development? Like, I don't know how to manage this. I'm sort of swimming. And she said, okay, let's start talking to people. So we started talking to Sweden and we looked at, you know, all kinds of different things. And then I thought we need to get more people involved. So I called for a town hall meeting in London and 2 people turned up, and they are 2 of the co-founders now. Ultimately, if Raising Films is a footnote in the annals of history that no one ever knows about, but we've got a more inclusive film industry, then our work here is done. I didn't write stories, I didn't do creative writing, I was never kind of in that part. So actually my first week at film school, it was kind of like write a scene, write a short film, and I was like, I don't think I can do that, you know, and then I could, because actually people have done it before and you can learn from them, and suddenly you find a way to organise the stuff that you want to say. You know, that's how I see story. It's kind of a way to organise your material, all the sort of points you want to make, the emotional sort of states you want to conjure, the kind of visuals. You know, story is the thing that pulls it all together and presents it as a film. So I think I'm sort of obsessed actually with story now and how you make stories and what a story is.
United we stand, divided we fall. If you challenge the script, you threaten us all. Oh, one more thing. This forest will be leveled. In another 6 months, a shopping village will be built.
Does that mean that...
This will be our final celebration.
This is the last one?
Yes.
No.
Let's make it a good one, kids.
The process of moving from shorts to features is such a hard one, and it's not because you don't have the ambition or the skills, but it's because the money is so much more significant, and getting people to trust you and to give you that opportunity is so hard. And I understand, you know, it's a lot of money you're asking to be put in, you know, in charge of in some ways, but it's, for me it was especially difficult because I had a feature that I really wanted to make, and it felt so me, and it was something that I loved and was ballsy and was shouty and was kind of just fresh, I thought, and it was, so I worked and worked on that, and I had a lot of development investment in it, and then ultimately they didn't give me the money to make the feature, and eventually we just had to put it away, and that was the point at which I then got the levelling commission.
So you gave the farm to Harry?
You left.
You told me to go.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I was 18. You told me to get the hell out of here. And then nothing. No phone call, no apology.
You were being bloody impossible.
I was 18.
Exactly. You weren't in charge. It was my farm.
You expected my respect?
Yes, I bloody expected your respect. I was your father.
You were the man who left me at boarding school when my mother died. Didn't bring me home for her funeral.
What's that got to do with it? That was years before.
So it didn't matter. I was just expected to forget about it. My mother.
Yes, Clover, yes. That's how it works. You have to forget about it and then move on.
And change the subject every time she's mentioned.
We have to get up, get out of bed, and milk the bloody cows.
I think it's a really human thing to try and understand something that's happened and why it's happened and what that means to you and, you know, how you were related and know in a way that you're never going to get an answer, or realise at some point along that journey you're never going to get an answer. When I met Ellie, it was so clear that she was the perfect person for this, and she was so relieved to not have to think about gender in any kind of, you know, traditional sense around this character, but obviously is an incredibly bright woman and is very eloquent and smart on gender, basically, and so that became part of our conversation. I think the idea that, you know, putting women on screen without women behind the camera, saying, oh, but that's fantastic, we've got women's stories, and it's kind of like, well, yeah, but actually, even in the making of that story, if you don't have, you know, if there's no real dialogue and no openness, it's scary, you know. And so I think, you know, the more women and the more people of colour and the more, you know, disabled people and the more, you know, it increases the chance of us getting things right, you know, and making them interesting and complex and just broadening the type of stories we see. And that, you know, as someone who thinks films are really important in how society functions, you know, and television as well, you know, I just think it's essential and it's imperative and it's a no-brainer.